I need you to tell me about Rock's operation.
I ain't going out like that. I know you my father.
As much as it changes things between you and me, it changes things between me and her a whole lot more.
And we don't need to beat him, we just need to make him bleed.
Now, with episode 9 being the penultimate episode, it probably is safe to say things are about to get a little crazy. Towards the end of a season for Power, we can always expect some sort of cliffhanger, death, storyline spiraling out of control, and after episode 8, we're gonna see Lou be there for Marvin, just like Marvin was there for him in season 1. Now, we've got Sal Baisley, who wants Unique to give him everything on Rock's operation, but Unique is playing his own game. He's definitely looking out for himself, and he's using both Rock and Sal to get to where he wants. In other words, he's using everybody else as pawns, because chaos creates opportunities, and Unique is in a unique position where he can sit back and let everything unfold beneath him, and take advantage when that opportunity comes. Although I would love nothing but for Rock and Unique to work together, because imagine in a world where Unique and Rock could trust each other, they would make one dangerous team. But two alphas will never be on the same page, not long term anyway. But we've also got Cartier, who wants to buy into Rock's operation, and I'm gonna come to a theory surrounding Crown's body later on in this video, because there is definitely a reason they found his corpse. But the dynamics are shifting in the relationship between Kanan and Howard, and with Rock so focused on the Italians, she doesn't even realize how she's fucking with the one person she said she was doing this all for, Kanan Stark. But we're gonna run through all things episode 9, breaking down the trailer scene by scene, as well as looking at some past conversations and taking it back to Power as well. But as usual, let's start with the title and synopsis. Now, the title of episode 9 is Antitrust, and the synopsis reads, with his living situation threatened, Famous reaches out to Lou as a last-ditch effort. Rock receives a new business proposal and must eliminate a threat. Burke closes in on what really happened at Baisley Park. So I think there's only one place to start, which is the beef between Rock and the Italians. But first, we need to take a specific look at Marvin, and in the trailer, it is very subtle, but it does seem like Rock is talking to Marvin as well as Lou. So he may have taken a bullet and he may be a bit bruised up, but Marvin's tough, and it is going to take a lot more for the Italians to bring him down. Although I don't think Renee will be as lucky. They always say in Power, you need to earn your death. But innocent parties are an exception, because they can always get caught in this game, mixing with the wrong people, and for her, it was probably being in the wrong place at the wrong time, because it was inevitable at some point the Italians would come looking for Marvin, especially because they got to Dominic first, and Marvin was sweating early in episode 8, which is why he should have had his head on a constant swivel.
You know like I know. Until that body shows up, he ain't dead. And if he ain't dead, he's still talking.
So I do think he should have been more aware of his surroundings, especially because knowing the Italians were gonna want payback for Marco's death. But now all hell is about to break loose, because Rock made it clear there was no way she was gonna give up her brother. But now that they've come after one of the Thomases, Rock, Marvin and Lou are gonna be on some demon time, and it does seem like she's gonna task Lou in making the Italians bleed, and she specifically said they don't need to beat them, they just need to make them bleed. And so Lou's gonna be back in the streets after all the shit he said about wanting to live a different life and him not wanting to do that shit anymore. But one thing you can never doubt when it comes to Lou is his loyalty.
He'd know that when they put me in the ground, I'm gonna be flying the same fucking flag I've been flying. Because I don't flip. For nobody or nothing, and you know this.
This was Lou in season 1, where he had the opportunity to flip over to Unique, but it was actually Rock who indirectly woke up the beast inside Lou in season 2. She tickled him with the information of Crown going behind his back, knowing it would set him off. And as we always say, you can try and leave the streets, but there will always be something or someone to pull you back in, and here we are. But I don't think it's going to start with just making the Italians bleed. This will definitely end up going back and forth until Sal gets retribution for Marco. So it's also another reason she may decide to take Cartier up on his offer into buying into her operation, because not only does this make Cartier a business partner, it also gives Rock access to his resources. But there is one thing we've learned about Rock. She's the boss, and she doesn't take orders from anyone. And she's also been making some clever power moves behind Cartier's back to kind of force this deal.
From Maryland, right? Weapons possession. Yeah, he the one. Look, I need that shit handled.
She made a move with Abraham when Cartier wouldn't, and she's been picking his organization right in front of his face, which probably gave him no choice but to get into a business partnership with Rock. And so she got what she wanted, access to DC and Baltimore. So if she's got access to DC and Baltimore, what does she need Cartier for? And this is where I think Crown's body may play a part. Crown's body was found at the end of episode 8, and from where I'm sitting, if Rock's got what she wanted from Cartier, and with Lou not being happy in business with him either, I can see a scenario where they could frame Cartier for Crown's death. But the complication does come with Ziza, who does seem like she's down for whatever Lou's down for. But let's see how Crown's body complicates things. Especially if I was in Lou's shoes, I would definitely use it to frame Cartier. But talking of Rock's operation, Salbacelli wants eyes and ears on everything, and he wants Unique to be his inside man. But Unique isn't a rat, because if he wanted to dye Marvin out to the Italians, he could have easily have done so in episode 8. But he didn't. And the reason why he didn't was because without the Thomas family, their entire empire crumbles. And Unique knows he needs to play this carefully, but in a way which benefits him. And so he's using both sides as pawns on his chessboard. And if he continues to play his cards right, he may end up season 2 victorious. Now, just before we discuss what Kanan said in the trailer, I do think it's worth taking it back to what Kanan said about his father in Power.
So when you find out you got a dad?
I don't know. Not long ago.
So don't trip and don't waste it. I ain't never had one.
So even though Kanan said he never had a father, there are two possible explanations. Either Kanan was lying to Tommy and maybe he didn't want anyone to know his father was a cop. Or 2, the writers have decided to take a different approach and direction, which is also why I don't think we can look too deeply into what Kanan said about his moms in season 2 of Power. Kanan also mentioned he went to go visit his moms, but again, this was way before they had Raising Kanan in mind, and so either Kanan was lying or in my opinion, he went to go visit her grave. Because can we really confidently say, after watching 2 seasons of manipulation by Rock, that she's gonna make it out the game? I really can't see it happening. She's making enemies out of everyone from the Italians to Kanan, and then there's also Detective Burke, who we're gonna get to later on in this video. But let's look at how this changes things going forward. Will we see Kanan and Howard develop this relationship, while the other one with his mother goes in the opposite direction? We also do need to factor in Breeze at some stage, whether it be at the end of season 2 or some stage in season 3, because he did have a big influence on Kanan. Now, elsewhere with Kanan's story, and something we have to mention based on the synopsis, mentioning Famous will reach out to Lou with help with his living situation. Famous does tend to blab a lot of shit. Recently he opened his mouth about how Jessica was sleeping with Crown, and with him knowing the paternity results of Kanan Stark being the son of MH, I do wonder whether he blabs this shit to Lou. There's also the Duke and Marvin relationship, now that she knows that Kenya is pure evil. But Duke and Marvin is something I do think we'll see develop a lot more in season 3, and as sad as it is to say, I think we all know what happens next, but that's a story for season 3 or maybe 4. Now, another story which will start to spiral out of control is Detective Burke. She was given her last and final warning by all 3, Howard, the captain, and Rock. But now with her closing in on what happened at Baisley Park, maybe with the help of Sam the Crackhead, she definitely has to go. But that's a breakdown of episode 9's trailer, and what we can expect for the penultimate episode of Raising Kanan season 2. But how do you guys see this playing out? Will Rock salvage this relationship with Kanan? And will she be able to make the Italians bleed, or will there be blood spilled on both sides? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and of course if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.